Anushka, good evening to you and good morning to me.
Yeah, good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Wonderful, Anushka. So your last video was fantastic, in which you were talking about
Yeah,
the mistakes students do while writing SOP,
right.
and I believe our this video is sequel to that. So what are we going to discuss today's
Yes.
video?
So our today's video is going to be very exciting. Now, many students struggle in writing a good SOP or a good personal statement. So I'll be telling like what are some secrets that can create a winning SOP and what actually US universities are looking for in a candidate's SOP.
Okay,
So if you're making any mistake, you can like rectify it by seeing this
okay,
video. Yeah, yeah.
wonderful.
So
Okay, so
let's start.
okay,
Okay, so let's start with our today's video. It's going to be very exciting. And if you're in the process of writing SOP, this is a perfect video for you. Now, the first thing is the golden rule, that is, you should be able to show and not just tell. Now, what do I mean exactly by this is, as you can see, one example I've listed. Now, it says I'm passionate about research and hardworking. So, you cannot just blatantly write that you're passionate about research and hardworking. Now, any person who is not passionate can also write this statement. It doesn't make sense. So what I think is a right way is that you can back up your claims with some good examples. Now, for example, you can write that during your thesis of your master's or bachelor's, while you're researching on cancer, you faced some challenges. Maybe you were troubleshooting a protocol, or you faced some challenges in the lab techniques, and after troubleshooting and going through the literature review, you optimized your protocol and then it gave successful results. So this is a perfect way of like showing how with a good example that you are really passionate about your research and hardworking. So I think you should always use storytelling instead of just mentioning some statements which doesn't have any examples. So this is the golden rule that you should always remember. Now also some students, they like being too descriptive without a proper analysis is also a problem, and students should rectify this. Now what do I exactly mean by this is, you just for example, you just write, I worked on PCR, Western blot, and cell culture related techniques. Now instead, you can explain that what you have learned and how it connects to your research interest. So for example, you can mention that during your research, I optimized some machine conditions for my gene expression analysis, now which resulted in deepening of your interest in some of the molecular biology techniques. Now this is giving you like a proper analysis without being very descriptive. You cannot just write that I mean, it's not a good idea to write, just mention the techniques that you have done. Rather, you can connect it to your research interest. So, this is also second point that you should keep in mind. Now, I'll be telling you some of the SOP mistakes that will get you rejected in the first instance. So, what are these mistakes? Now, I think you should avoid writing some generic and cliche statements like, "Oh, I want to do an MS to enhance my knowledge." Now, it doesn't make any sense to the reader or to the graduate committee. So please avoid any generic or a cliche statement that doesn't make sense. Now the second thing is fluff and irrelevant info. Now many applicants and many students, they try to overshare their personal struggles. Now this is not a good idea. While you're writing a professional SOP, you can maintain, if like mention some personal struggles, maybe related to financial conditions, or you're the first generation child, which means that none of them in your family has got a degree and you are the first one to get, if you get admitted to the university. Now like you should write it in a limit and you should never overshare your personal struggles. And you should always try to stick to your research, academics, and the goals that you see after completing your PhD or MS. And the third mistake is like students don't customize their SOP. Now, I was sharing one example wherein one student, he was applying to two universities at the same time, but in both of the universities he mentioned the name of Princeton University, but the second university's name was Yale. So that is a big mistake. So I think your SOP does not you should tailor it according to each and every university that you're going to apply. So please try to avoid making these mistakes. Now, also focusing too much on the past and not enough on the future, this is the most important aspect. Now, many universities, they have started writing a note that you should not mention your CV in your SOP. So your SOP is not just a CV in paragraph form. Please remember this. And so how can you fix this is show how your past experiences have prepared you for your future research and career. So do not just mention that I did my bachelor's from this college and my project was XYZ, my master's thesis was XYZ. You should try to show them that how your past research experiences are preparing you or have prepared you for future career goals and research that you're going to do in your PhD. So please do not just write your CV as your SOP. This is also a big mistake that students often do. Now then, this is one of the most important thing. Now, overloading with technical jargon. Now, what do you mean by this is, so the graduate committee or the admissions committee, they are not always experts in your technical related field. So even a layman should understand what you're trying to say in your SOP. Now, I know that it's very important to showcase your technical expertise, but I think you should not turn your SOP into a proper research paper, because then the reader or the graduate admissions committee, they won't understand some of the very technical aspects that you're trying to convey. So you should keep technical details in brief, that is in short and accessible. And you should ensure that non-experts in your field also can understand and also can read your SOP. So this is one thing. Also, not addressing gaps or weaknesses strategically. So it's okay that if you have a low GPA, it's not a big thing to worry about. Now, don't just ignore it or don't just run away from it either. What you can do instead is briefly acknowledge it, that you should write that I faced some GPA related issues, but show how you have grown from the experience. Now, for example, you can write that though my GPA dipped in my second year due to some personal reasons, I rebounded strongly in later semesters and excelling in XYZ courses. So you can show that how you have grown or how you are learning from your previous experiences and mistakes as well. So this is one thing, and this is the SOP structure that usually, which is very ideal for applying to universities. It starts from introduction, and your introduction should be very catchy. It should not be very boring and blatant statement. It should have a good quote or like this example, or you should start with a personal anecdote, or you can also start with a thought provoking question. Then you come to your academic background and skills that you have learned, and then you start talking about your research interest. What are your research interests? Have you went through the research areas of the universities that the professors are carrying, and why specifically this university is important and is a good fit for you. Also, you should mention your career goals, which is very important when you're writing your SOP. It can be your career goals after your PhD, while you're doing your PhD. And so you can mention that you want to be a good a professor after you complete your PhD. So that is important. And then you conclude with an impact. and tell about like reaffirm your enthusiasm and future contributions. So this is a proper like ideal structure for your SOP that you can incorporate. And this is a checklist. Now you can use this checklist while you're writing your SOP. You have to explain why you want to pursue this graduate degree. That is the most important thing. Then you can outline your interest in a given subject of expertise. Also, you need to highlight or make the what do you call the statement or the words bold. Highlight your strengths and suitability for the program that you're applying for. And then comes your goals, your research interest, and then you have to emphasize why you are a good fit for the school, because they are not going to just give you off a little like that. They have to make sure that you are a perfect fit for this university, and also describe why the school is a good fit for you. So why particularly that university and not other. So you can use this checklist while you're writing a statement of purpose. So I think that's it from my side about how to write a good or a winning SOP, and all of the things that a graduate admissions committee is looking for in your SOP. And if you need any help regarding the SOP writing or SOP structuring process, you can contact your PDA mentors. We are always there to help you.
Okay, wonderful,
So
Anushka. The way we expected. So I want to ask you a couple of things here, Anushka.
yes,
So
yes,
you mentioned some of the components which should be there in SOP. Now my
yeah,
point is like you mentioned that okay, you have to tell about you also how you are fit into that. So my first question to you is like
yeah.
how much percentage? Let's say we have one page. So what percentage of that one page should be occupied by your research background or your research inclination or what you want to do? So out of various components, how much
Mhm.
focus should be there on what I have done in the BTech or MTech in my background and what I want to do?
I think not more than one para or not more than 6 to 7 sentences, because that is what I did. Like you can mention in one paragraph about your previous education background or the skills that you have gained while doing your BTech or masters.
What
So
I found is like when students start writing their SOP, they think it is to be written something like their explanation of their BTech project. They start like
yeah, exactly,
this is what I
exactly.
did. So when you were
Yeah,
talking about the technical jargons, don't be much descriptive about many things.
yeah,
They do
yeah,
that actually. They write that these were the machines and this is what I've done. So that very lengthy. So I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
that is a requirement of that much.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And some universities have specific guidelines, or they tell you that we only accept one page SOP. So it
Yes.
depends on each university. Some of them they ask you to write it in 1 to 3 pages, and some of them just need it in one page. So depends
So
on the university criteria as well.
yeah, so students do that. Sometimes they restrict themselves, to one page only. But the only
Yeah,
trouble comes in one page where you have to focus. So sometimes
exactly.
I found 80% of coverage is on BTech project.
That should
That
not
is
be the
that should
case.
not be
Yeah.
there. My
You
second
should
point to you,
highlight your research goals, or how what is your research interest, and they look at your career goals especially, and what you're going to do for your PhD project. You can just
Mhm.
mention the point, mention it in points, that you are interested in working under XYZ professor. His research is aligning with your interest, and what are some of the projects that you will be interested in 1 or 2 sentences. So that is a good thing to do instead.
Sometime individual candidate is referring to two, three professor in a department.
Yes, yes.
He's seeing and he wants to mention their names. So, how to then cover three professors and their work?
I think then you should just write the professor's name,
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, and then you can write that I'm interested in working with these professors. That's
Normally,
it.
they all
So
work in the same field. So,
yeah, 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 yeah. So the research would be like kind of related.
same, yeah.
I had just one professor, so I just
Oh,
mentioned his, and I got some extra space to write for my
okay.
research.
Anushka, you also mentioned that your SOP should explain how you are a best fit for the university and why you want that particular university.
Yeah.
So, in what sense a student can, mention that particular thing?
Okay, so how, in terms of answering the question of how you are a best fit for your university, you should align it with the professor's project. Now, you can. What I did was I told it in the SOP that my professor, he had published an article which in the protocol section he had XYZ specific protocols which I have done in my BTech thesis or BTech internship, and I know how to do those what do you call skills and how to do those techniques, lab techniques, which takes a lot of time to learn eventually. So I already know it. I already know how the method was followed in his research articles, and based upon that, I'll be able to do my future experiments. So
Mm.
this tells you that you already have the skills that
Okay.
is needed for the future project of the professors. So that is a good thing to mention. It shows that you are a good fit for working in the lab.
Okay, so I think the best part which student can take from this entire discussion today is like as you said, it is how to write a winning SOP is like some
Yeah.
certain golden rules like uh, don't show it, don't only tell. That is very
Don't
very
tell.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it has to be customized. It has to be tailor made for
Yes,
particular
yes,
university.
yes, yes.
Not that Yale and Princeton, everything, it's the same document you're sending. It should not be same. These are
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best inputs, Anushka. So that brings us to an end of this wonderful session. And similar sessions will keep on publishing for the students.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank
Definitely,
you, Anushka.
definitely. Yeah. Thank you, sir.